Hi everyone, my name is Rishit and today I'll be giving my weekly predictions for SPY. Now I haven't made a video like this in a long while since I was on an excursion to a yoga camp for a month, and now that I'm back I'll be continuing the project that I left off, and I'll be giving my predictions for the week ending the 11th of August 2023. And as usual, we'll start with the monthly, then the weekly, and finally end with the daily charts. Now, before going into any of the predictions, I would like to make the important disclaimer that all information in this video is completely for educational purposes, and it is unadvised to make a trade purely off of this information, since markets are subject to risk and can result in hefty losses if unadvised positions are taken. Now that we've finished that, let's get on with the video. So let's start with the monthly chart here. As you can see, since I have left, not much has changed in terms of the upwards trend of the monthly chart. We still have this long upwards trend line, and that hasn't been breached yet. So the market has been going at the slope, well, not exactly at the slope, but it has been going upwards along with this trend line. And as you can see, we've deviated a little bit and the market did pull back. But as long as we have a full breach of the trend line, we have nothing to worry about, as we can still safely assume that the market is going up. As we can see, the average RSI is still leaning upwards, although the momentary RSI is oscillating, but the slower moving average, as you can see, is still pointing upwards, which leads us in the right direction so far. And this is all that we have in the monthly chart. And if we go to the weekly charts, we can see this in a little bit more detail. Now here we see some more interesting things. As we can see, we still have this very long trending upwards rally. However, we can see this candle here from last week is a almost full engulfing of the previous week's candle. It's a bearish engulfing candle, and this is a very strong bearish indication in terms of candlesticks, because it just means that it's signaling a downwards rally. And we can also see that even if this wasn't necessarily an engulfing candle, this is all a very, very large bodied red candle, which indicates the strength of bears in the market for the moment. And we can also see that the RSI has now started to go downwards and has crossed its average from above in downwards direction, which is also a strong bearish indication for the market. And we can see when this has happened in the past, we've had a strong bearish move. Even if it was temporary, we can see that we've had a very strong bearish conviction in these moments, but this is nothing concrete yet. But when we move to the daily charts, everything will become a lot more clear. But from the weekly charts, we can gauge this, that there is a possibility for a downwards rally. So next, let's move to the daily charts, where we can see everything in a little bit more detail. Now, since I was gone for the last month, I'm not going to attempt to chart the previous month's activity, since it has been largely upwards. But as we can see from the last week, it has been a downwards channel in terms of price action. So this is again another bearish indicator. We can see that there is a clear downward movement in last week's price action, so we can take it to be another downward confirmation. Plus we can see that the RSI, even the average, is now tilting downwards, which is again a bearish confirmation, and so is the RSI without the average, also again consistently going downwards. Again, a confirmation of the current price movement. So we can take this as a signal to be the start of a possible downwards trend. And now that we've covered the charting part of this video, we'll go over to the Excel chart, where we have the project information, where the final prediction is laid out in a lot more detail, and some more intricacies about the option chain, and maybe some indications and stuff related to that. So we'll switch over to that Excel sheet, and then we'll finish the last part of this video. So here we are in the Excel sheet of the project, and we'll go over the 11th prediction that I've made so far, and we will talk about the prediction in detail, along with the signals and what will happen to the price and to the hypothetical capital that we're calculating so far. So the actual prediction that I'm making is again a no trade yet, since we wait for that large red candle to break. So if it crosses the high of 452.90, and sell when it falls below the low 446.27. So the high that I'm referring to here is the high of the daily candle. So we have the high of 452.90 and the low of 446.27, and we sell and buy when it crosses below. And by crosses, I mean closes below or above the specified targets. And we have, if a trade is triggered, a target of 1% with a trailing stop loss. If the target or stop loss is not hit, then we take the closing price on Friday. Now for the max open interest for the monthly expiry, we have 430 for CE at 80,748 and 420 for PE with 132,305. And the monthly PCR is 2.34. The max OI for the weekly expiry is 462 for CE, and the OI is 92,632 and 447 for PE at 23,780, and the weekly PCR is 1.65. And the price action is the downward channel that we saw in the daily charts. The weekly trend is still up, however, that is subject to reversal, and the monthly trend is up as we saw in the monthly charts. Now, if we look at another interesting thing, we can see that we've said that when the price falls below 446.27, which is the low, then we sell. However, if we look here, a lot of people have placed their bet at 447 PE, means they're selling puts at 447, which means that a lot of people expect the price to stay above 447, which is why I made it so that it has to close below this target to show that the bears have enough conviction. And therefore, if this event does happen, then we have a strong sell signal at our hands, which will obviously be the reversal of a downwards rally. And on this note, I would like to end this video. And as usual, if there's any relevant changes to this prediction, I will make a video on that. And next week, when I make my next prediction, I will review this week's prediction and show the relevant changes to the capital, if any are present. So I'll see you next week.